All right, a watchdog group in southern Nigeria has released a new report that's absolutely shocking. They're claiming that at least 7,087 Christians have been murdered, massacred across the country this year. In addition to that number, they're saying more than 7,800 were violently seized or abducted for being Christians. Now, statistically, folks, we break this down, it comes down to like 32 Christians being killed every day in that country and 35 Christians being kidnapped every day in that country. And these are like at minimum numbers. In the report, the International Society for Civil Liberties and Rule of Law noted that a designation of Nigeria by the Trump administration as a country of particular concern is, quote, belated and long overdue. And I can tell you my next guest is among those who would agree. Joining me now to discuss this is Clint Lyons. He's executive director of iReach Global. He recently visited Nigeria, where his organization has been serving affected believers despite the threat of violence. So Clint, welcome to Washington Watch. It's great to have you.
Thanks for having me on, Jody. Appreciate it.
Okay, let's talk about over 7,000 Christians massacred in Nigeria so far this year alone. That's much more than what we've seen in recent years, and we still have 4 months to go. So how big of a shock are these numbers?
Well, I would say it's shocking, but it's not surprising. Last year, we had probably around 3,100 Christians who were killed for their faith in Nigeria. And just to see in the first 8 months of this year, that number skyrocket to over 7,000. And like you said, 30 Christians a day in Nigeria are being wiped off the face of the earth because of their faith. And this is something that's been a long time coming. We've struggled with this administration in Nigeria. The current president and the officials there, they have over and over again shown that they are a little bit uncaring about the plight of the persecuted Christians in their country.
Wow. Now, you were recently there. I mentioned that introducing you. First, tell us, if you would, probably many are not familiar with the work that you do. So tell us about the work of your organization, what y'all do, and then tell us about what you saw, what you heard while you were there in person.
Right. So iReach Global, we work to support these persecuted communities. We do it through caring for them physically, helping them grow spiritually, and then eventually our goal is for them to be able to impact their communities with the love of Christ and even reach their persecutors. And I was there just a few weeks ago, actually, and I met with many of our frontline workers who had just returned from some of these areas that had been attacked recently. They walked into villages where the mass graves were still fresh, where the buildings were still smoldering. And to call it disheartening is not just, it just doesn't capture what how you feel about those types of things. You see videos, I see videos from our contacts on the ground with mothers' bodies on the ground with crying babies strapped to their backs. And I see videos of fathers who were gunned down just going about their day. This is a level of brutality I could not have ever even imagined.
Wow. Well, I know back in 2020, during the first Trump administration, Nigeria at that point was rightfully so designated as a country of particular concern. But then the Biden administration came along and lifted that designation, despite the fact of what you're describing. It's the deadliest place in the world for Christians. So what message did that send when the Biden administration lifted that designation?
It sent the message that the U.S. is not going to hold you accountable. You know, the U.S. gives so much money, billions in foreign aid every year, and especially looking at Nigeria. Nigeria is a big recipient of that. And to just give them a blank check and say, you're not going to be held accountable for these violations in your own borders, it sends a terrible message. And I think a lot of it is where we are today is a result of that. And so I firmly believe, I would encourage Secretary Rubio and President Trump to redesignate Nigeria as a country of particular concern under the International Religious Freedom Act.
Yeah, I can only imagine had it been during the Biden administration, this type of actions being brought against the LGBT community in Nigeria, what kind of response there would have been. You can only imagine that. But when it comes to Christians, it's like we'll take away that CPC designation. So what, in your understanding, your opinion, should the message be to this administration when it comes to Nigeria?
I think we as Christians in America must speak with our voice and speak with our vote. We need to contact our local representatives. And while it's the State Department that would designate a country of particular concern, we know it's Congress that holds the purse. And so we need to put pressure on our elected officials to ensure that this happens. And another form of action we can take, we need to pray and we need to take action here. A lot of times we feel like we don't know what we can do, what we should do, but go in and help these communities to recover, to care for them in their suffering, and to help them grow and to help them go from just surviving, those who surviving to thriving. So many of these are internally displaced persons who have nowhere to go, and we need to help them.
Absolutely. And one more time, Clint, real quickly, how can people get in touch with iReach Global for more information?
Right. Well, iReachGlobal.org is our website. And if you feel led to go and to help in this particular situation, there's a giving link right on the front page where you can help us rush what we give as what we call survival kits to Nigerian believers. And this is food, it's daily toiletries, other necessities, and many times if the person wants, we give them the word of God as well, Bible, so that they have that, and not only just to help them feed their souls physically, but spiritually as well.
Thank you so much, Clint Lyons, Executive Director of iReach Global. We appreciate you